Hey, people. Anybody out there watching? Anybody? Which is, I don't care. Just trying to be part of the solution. Through my experience. Just thinking about the ego. What is it? Is it really there? You can read many books, you can watch many videos, and nobody really knows. It definitely helps to explore that. But it seems like there's a lot of chaos going on in the world right now. And brings me to that spirit science video. What is good and what is bad? What is bad might end up turning good later on. And what is good now might end up turning bad later. It's kind of a perception thing. But certain things happen that seem to go in a weird sequence type of order, and then you see it later on, you're like, oh, I guess that could be maybe another video. I was thinking about the ego, and I see all these arguments on these media platforms of just people arguing one side or the other politically, and it's just like, I don't know. One thing I could say is at least people care. Whether it's right or wrong, who the freak knows? You know? But people are getting caught up in ego. And I first heard ego and first started learning about ego in recovery. They say when my ego gets in the way, I start running the show again. They would call that edging God out, easing God out. Is because when I play God, bad things happen, and that's through my experience. That's through my experience. When I play God, like I know all, that's when bad things happen, and that's just through my experience. But if you, I don't know, I've just been learning about it, and read a book and watch a few videos that especially Eckhart Tolle, that really dive into the ego. He might be right and he might not be, but it definitely helps get me out of the way. What is the ego? The ego helps me to do anything, to wake up in the morning, to have responsibilities, to be useful to give me, you know, you know, I'm hungry. I think I need to eat. It just helps me with my day-to-day life, from what I hear. But it can really get skewed when I think I know everything, and my ego thinks it knows, or we know, if it's another entity. That's what Eckhart Tolle says. It's another entity in you that it knows, or we know, more than everybody else. And then I start identifying and pointing fingers and yelling at people. And like, when ego is healthy, I am not ego. I'm not fighting. I'm not arguing. I'm just at peace. And when it's not healthy, I am not at peace. And it kind of creates division, from what I've seen in myself and what I see in the world today. It's creating a lot of division. And just being aware of that, whether it's true or not, being aware of my thoughts, or our thoughts, being aware of my thoughts helps me to stop and see what's going on, instead of just blurting out whatever comes to mind. And being aware of it really, really helps. Because from what I've seen and what I've learned, I learned first, then I started seeing within me. What I learned was anything, especially if it's negative. This is pretty much the only time that I want to look at the ego, because there's a lot of sick egos in the world now. And the only one I can change is me. That's the only one I can change is me. Be the change you want to see in the world. So I have to work on myself. And that started in recovery. And then when I started learning about the ego, okay, it helped me to slow down. And that's what the steps did. When I really started learning about them and living them to the best of my ability, a day at a time, I started seeing what was going on with my thoughts. I was the observer of my thoughts, as Eckhart Tolle would say. I started observing what I'm thinking. And I've noticed a few things. I've noticed that, and you learn this in recovery, just said in a different way, whatever I am aggravated about with somebody, it's usually something I've done, something I thought about doing, or something I'm just about to do. And being aware of that, I just laugh. I just laugh when I catch it. And it sucks, because I get caught up in my ego. And then when I usually get caught up in my ego, it's not usually a good thing. But being aware of it helps so much. It's so much better than not being aware at all about it. And just identifying with my ego. My ego thinks I'm all that. I can do no wrong. I am God. Don't you know who I am? Fuck you. Fuck the world. It's a lot of negativity up in there. And I was told by Pastor James Don't go to the ghetto alone. That's great. The ghetto's up in here. This is a bad place to be. And don't stay stuck there. And it's hard. It's hard to freaking break from that. But if you have awareness of this up here, if you have awareness, you can do something about it. If you have no awareness, you can't do anything about it because there's nothing broke. Just like I said in other videos, if there's nothing to fix, if you don't know what's broke, you can't fix it. Whatever it is. Whatever you're trying to work on. If you don't know anything is broke, then there's nothing to fix. Everything's fine. You know? But as soon as you get awareness of the things that are broke and the things that you want to change, like, damn. Now what am I going to do with that information? Am I going to do something about it, or am I just going to be like, fuck it. Yeah, I know I'm fucked up, but fuck it. And there's plenty of people out there that said that. And I'm one of those people that said that for many years. I don't think I quite had the awareness of how my thoughts affected me and everybody else, though. So, you know, being aware of me. Especially on the road. I'm a driver. And it brings me back to Eckhart Tolle, because he really is a teacher in trying to figure out the ego in it. And I think he might be onto something. If not, he is totally correct. That anything that is causing me grief and causing me harm, once you figure out, you know, like for me, that we call them character defects. Like for me, self-pity and anger, self-righteousness, a lot of self is on the top of my list that I need to fix. Okay? On the road, you can easily get angry, right? Because no one's driving the way you want them to drive. It's totally out of your control. And every time I get caught up in my ego, every time, every time, I'll be like, fucking asshole, just cut me off. Minutes later, I'll cut somebody else off. And I didn't even, you know, and I'll do the same thing. And then I'll catch myself, I'll laugh, I'll be like, shit. There I go again. But at least I have the awareness. At least I care to change. At least. There's been like so many times in early sobriety where I was like seeing, and you get taught this. You will see you in other people. Their thinking, their actions, and they say it pisses you off because they're being just like you. People are a mirror of you. That's awesome. That's awesome. And it sucks at the same time, but it's awesome because I got thrown off like Eckhart's message. One of his messages was use that anger, use the self-pity as a tool. Like, okay, I have a lot of anger in me. Just before I get angry, stop and look at it. Stop and look at it. And you can use whatever, for me, self-pity and anger is on the top of the list. Use that to help you grow. Because that is one of the most difficult things that I have in me. If I can use that to grow, he would call it, it's a spiritual tool. Use that. I'm not sure if I got that name, what I call these videos, spiritual tools, but it's just something that came to mind. Maybe it was from him, maybe it wasn't. I don't know. I know these videos could help somebody, and everything that I talked about on my videos are from me and from my experience. And talking about it helps me even further. So it's a spiritual tool for me. And it could be for other people. But using that. Seeing myself and other people are mirrors of me. Because I've seen it. I've witnessed it. I've witnessed it. Someone acting just like me. And I'm getting angry. Why? Because they're just like me at that time, at that moment. And it pisses me off. And I don't like it. And it should. Because it's probably not a good thing. It's probably not. They're probably doing something that's probably not good. Which I know all about. And I'm trying to change. I'm not trying to do that. See, if I didn't identify with it anymore, if I'm not there, if I'm not thinking like that or doing that, it probably wouldn't affect me. I would just have compassion for that person and pray for that person that, I'm trying to get there. But if something angers me, that means it's something within me now, at that moment. Or something that I'm trying to fix. And I still haven't got the grasp yet. But I know I'm on the right track. But that ego is a trip. That is, whew. 'Cause I know, my ego knows everything. I have all the answers. And as soon as my ego starts talking right away. Soon, even if I hear some bullshit or what I think is bullshit, I'm like, okay, stop. Let's listen to the person. I can do that nowadays. I could do that nowadays. Stop. And when I do that, I can hear the person instead of hearing what I'm thinking about that person. Like, it doesn't matter. Just shut up and listen. It just makes me laugh because that's just what a huge thing that is. To have that awareness, at least the awareness. Am I great with it? Like, that's where meditation and prayer help. Meditation helps me to quiet down just a little bit and give me some awareness. And that's why I laugh, because I'm just like, wow, there's a whole lot of stuff going on up in there. And I don't think that's me. It's a sick ego. It's not really too healthy yet. It's a lot better than it was. But there's egos clashing all over the place. Everywhere I go. And I've gotten a lot better on Facebook. I've gotten a lot better not engaging. Because it does nothing. It does absolutely nothing. Well, you're saying something that I don't agree with, so I'm gonna have to fight you over it for what? For what? And all I see, not all I see. If I want to see it, I can. And sometimes, and a lot of times, I choose to see these arguments because I still have biases about certain things. But the more I'm open, the more I'm honest with myself, and the more I'm willing to accept people for where they are, in their evolution and in my evolution, the more I can see. I mean, there's this one guy that just loves to debate. It seems like he's I have a bias. I'm not sure if he has a bias, but he definitely can't stand bullshit on both sides when it comes politically. And he taught me something one day. He taught me something. I was able to see it. I was able to put the ego to the side. Right? Over here. I was able to put the ego over here on the shelf, just like the song says, a Logic song, right? And I was able to hear this person. I'm like, okay, well, what kind of proof do you have? You show me a video? I'm like, okay. All right. Wow. What a novelty. I'm wrong again. How is this possible? And I thanked him. I'm like, thank you. I didn't know that. I was getting some fucking information from a fucking meme. Thank you for teaching me. Thank you. And that's awesome. That's awesome. That's helping beat down the ego a little bit. Or at least get it in line. Be like, yo, get your act together. We're supposed to be on the same side and you're fucking me up. Alright? I have to live with you, you have to live with me. Fuck off. Interesting. Very interesting. It's awesome when you can see it. And I get caught in my ego. I do. But at least having the awareness to know that it's sick and other people's are sick, I can have compassion for them and myself. And it's progress. It's tough. It's not easy. But it's awesome. It's awesome. And it just helps me grow. You know, there's one time at work when I was doing construction that I don't miss very much. I don't miss at all. Doing construction, and a foreman told me to build something. I'm like, all right, that's awesome. I'm gonna. Thank you. Sure. You know, and I had a plan in mind. We had a plan in mind, right? Okay? And he saw what I was doing, and he stopped me. He's like, oh, I have a suggestion. How about you try this out? And right away, my ego is like, fuck you. You just told me to do something. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it my way. And I just started reciting to myself. I don't think I heard this anywhere. It might be original for me. But it helped me at that moment. It helped me. I started saying to myself, I am not my ego. 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 And I just started calming down. My heart started slowing down. The adrenaline started going lower. The defenses were going lower. The attack mode was going lower. My attitude was up here, and it started going down. Then I was able to hear him. I was able to hear him. And then when I heard what he said, I'm like, that is a lot better an idea than I had. That's a hell of a lot better. That's way easier. And he was just trying to fucking help. He was just trying to help. And he could have been an asshole. He's like, what? You can't make this simple little thing? Because my ego thinks I'm a carpenter. I could do carpenter-like things, but I'm not a fucking carpenter. You know? I probably should be, but, you know, it is what it is. And he could have been an asshole and just be like, and really ego clash with ego, but he was a teacher. This dude was a teacher. He helped me. I was able to hear him, and he had a great idea. And I thanked him. I'm like, hey, thank you. He's like, yeah, no problem. And he went on his way. I'm like, and I was witness. I was witness to that clash up in here, and I won. I won. Yeah. I was able to chill out the ego. Me. My other me. That knows it all. That was a victory. That was a victory. That was huge. I was witness to that. And there's been other times since then. And the more I do that, the more I grow. The more open I am, the more honest I am, and the more willing I am to hear other people. And that's awesome. That's huge. That's huge. So, if you're struggling with these thoughts that are in you, try to calm yourself down. Meditate if you can. You just breathe in and breathe out for like 2 minutes. Breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth. You know, have a simple little positive mantra, whatever that is. Make it up or find one. You know, I am not my ego. Just really helped me at that moment. Yeah, sick ego talks a lot of shit about you too. Say like nobody beats me up more than me. That's a sick ego. Not really sure what the agenda is. I don't have direct answers, but it definitely makes sense to me. Don't beat yourself up. Know that your destructive thoughts, they're not really real. They're there for a reason. They are there for a reason. And you have to figure out what that reason is. You know, for me, my thoughts, especially in early sobriety, sick ego, since I've done it so much, it makes sense to me. Since I've done it so much, it's habit for me to go to negativity, and that helps me to stay stuck in self, which I want to lubricate with a drug or a drink. That makes sense to me. Is that facts? I don't know. But that makes sense to me. So if I could just feel what I'm feeling, like, okay, they're not really facts, but why am I feeling this way? Why? And just asking the question why is huge. Huge. Because most of the time it's just react. Not asking. Not asking at all. Not thinking about it. And just react. When that's not really... hasn't helped me. Hasn't served me. Unless they're, you know... Unless there's some big ass animal trying to eat me. I'd be like, okay, run. And I'm not gonna question that. Or I'm gonna try to protect myself. I'm not gonna question that. I hope so. I hope I don't freeze and die, but you know, that's all part of the root chakra. You know, but when you get past that, especially when it comes to self, you need to really stop and think. Because it's just gonna hurt you. And then it eventually hurts other people. When it didn't have to. And it's all because of fucking ego. A sick ego. I think. But I'm still learning. So, you be well. Have fun. No stress. Catch you next time.